Hey guys, Suki here with a new CSR2 video. In today's video, we are going to take a look at Nightfall Directive closing pattern, the latest event to come to CSR2. So this is a 4+1 event, and what I mean by that is 4 of the lock-ins are already existing cards in the game, and the 5th one is obtainable via showdown and it's a new card. So all this is for the SSC Ultimate Arrow. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the lock-ins. For lock-in 1, something has changed since the last event with the Apollo S, and that is the TVR Sagris is no longer eligible. And unfortunately, the TVR Sagris is a good life racer, so you won't be able to upgrade that car anymore. But still, there is one good life racer left, which I'll get into later. But for now, the lock-ins are the KTM Crossbow R, Honda S2000, McLaren Mercedes SLR 722 Edition, Mazda Furai, Mazda KRC Modified SE3P White Body RX-8, Nissan LB Super Silhouette Skyline GTR BNR34, Honda Varis S2000 Dark Panther, and the Nissan GTR Nismo GT3. Now, one thing I want to make important note of is that the Varis S2000 Dark Panther is actually the current season's prize card. So I don't know why they're putting this card in to the event, because it's unobtainable and nobody has it unless you hack the game. So that option is basically off the table for most people. Nevertheless, if you only have one card to lock in for lock-in 1, and you are on the fence of locking in one or the other, lock in the Nissan GTR Nismo GT3, because first of all, this card is in collections, so you can easily obtain it. Secondly, it's a good life racer, and it also runs on Nissan parts, points 2 and 3 for it. So as a result, the Nissan GTR Nismo GT3 is the best lock-in, and I haven't even brought up point number 4. This is the Apex card in Showdown, so if you have this card fully maxed in Showdown, rest assured you can get the 5th lock-in very easily. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at lock-ins 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are all interchangeable. Now, starting with the ones I own, the Hennessy Venom GT Spider. Now, currently, as of this video, this car is obtainable in the current race pass. So, if you were to rush your race pass to level 21, you can either take the Gold Star or the Purple Star if you pay for a paid race pass, or both, which I won't recommend. But if you happen to have the option, I would say take the Gold Star version instead of the Purple Star, because the Gold Star version is in collections, the Purple Star isn't, and of course the Purple Star is going to cost you paid crates outside of the event, which is a non-issue for the event, but just something I wanted to point out anyway. Also, the Gold Star version is obtainable in the dealership for car credits, so if you rather go that way, that's also an option. So with that out of the way, you might be wondering, is the Venom GT Spider good at life racing? For me, yes and no. Why I say yes is because this is a dyno beater, and if you tune it just right, it can run about 4 or 5 seconds under its own dyno time, which is very, very fast and very, very deadly if you race this car and you bet 200k, you're going to lose. So in that sense, yes, the Venom GT Spider is a good car, but then again, you're tuning it with minus 999 Evo, and at that point, the car has no lobby advantage, so your opponents are going to be running equal or faster than your dyno time. So as a result, this car is not very competitive in live racing, aside from being dyno. So that's my take on it. With that out of the way, let's move on to the next car, the Lamborghini Murcielago LP670-4 Super Veloce. Now, this car is a very old car, and it came when CSR2 was only, I would say, 1 or 2 years old. And at that point, all the cars in the game were very slow, and the Murcielago is no different. It's a very old and slow Lamborghini, so I would say build it fast enough to beat the event and leave it alone after that, because this car is slow and it also doesn't serve much purpose in live racing, so don't bother with this car. Moving on, we have the Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione. Now, one thing I want to make note is that I'm unsure if this car has a gold star version. Rightfully it should, but if only the purple star version is eligible, like the menu is showing me now, it could be a pay-to-play event, just like in Rosso Maranello with the Daytona SP3 and the the F50 GT. So it could be a pay-to-play event, but if they have the gold star version available, I would say it won't be pay-to-play. But then again, I'm unsure if this car has a gold star version. But then again, the game has hundreds and hundreds of cars, and I'm unable to keep up with every single one. So I apologize for that. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the fifth lock-in, which is the Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR. Now, the Viper SRT10 ACR is the latest car, and I'm unsure how it's going to perform ever since Natural Motion fixed all the Nightfall Directive cars. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be a good car or a good life racer. And jumping back to the 8C Competizione briefly, I wanted to just point out that it's not a good car. I know very little about that car, but I know enough to tell you that that car is just slow and old and also not good, just like the Murcielago. So with that said, let's move on to the showdown. And in this showdown, there are two cars that you have to get the prize car early. And those are, of course, the Nissan GT-R Nismo GT3, which is the apex car for this event, and followed very closely by the Ford Mustang Cobra Jet. If you have either of these cars, you can get the prize car very quickly. If you have the Nissan fully maxed out, you should get the prize car on day 1 or day 2, no problem. But if you have the Ford Mustang Cobra Jet like me, you might have to wait for day 3 or day 4 before you can get the prize car if you don't want to pay for it in the shop. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the event. Should you do this event? Well, from my perspective, if you happen to have the cars like me and you're basically missing one tier for a car and the new car in showdown, I would say, why not? It's just one car upgrade and it's a Dodge. So Dodges aren't very difficult to upgrade. So as a result, I would say I'm doing the event. But if you're missing certain cars like the Hennessy or especially the Lamborghini Murcielago, I would say give the event a skip, because the Lamborghini Murcielago is just not a good car. Yes, it gets used in events, but for gold keys, I assume it's not going to be worth your gold keys. I'd rather you put your gold keys into a car that can auto life race versus an old and slow car like this. And recently I had a comment on one of my videos saying that CSR2 is about doing events, and while I agree with that, you also have to know how to efficiently use your resources. If you dump all your resources into one event, don't expect to be able to do other events. This game is full of events, and at some point you will have to skip, I would say, 1 or 2 events if you want to keep your resources and keep yourself afloat. So that's my take on it and my response to that comment. So all things said and done, if this video was helpful to you, do consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing, because all of these things really help my channel grow. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Take very good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in my next video.